Hi everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp with a STAMPtember 2023 exclusive from La La Land Crafts. This is chill winter season, and of course you can see it includes these three absolutely adorable penguin critters, 4 different sentiments, and 3 snowflakes. And I am going to use every single image and greeting from this stamp set for my card today. Starting with our penguin images, I am coloring in these images with some alcohol ink markers. These are the Olo alcohol ink markers. And I am going with a red, pink, and aqua color scheme for my cute penguins. You can see that I did stamp and cut these out. You will notice a small transition after our first penguin is colored, where I'm back to coloring my penguins on a solid sheet of paper. That's because I forgot to film it. I was talking on the phone and filming, and I accidentally hit pause. So I re-stamped those final 2 penguins and recolored them on screen for you guys. I know a lot of you love to watch the coloring, and I wanted to make sure that was included since it's such a big part of what brings the magic to this particular card design. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. The other little thing of note that I want to mention, if you buy the stamp die combo, your die cut images might look a little bit different than mine, and that is totally okay. I always just want to give the full disclosure that I had to cut mine with a scan and cut, or you could fussy cut them. I don't like to fussy cut. So I used a scan and cut because the dies weren't available when I filmed this video. But if you love the matching dies, I would highly recommend picking up the coordinating dies. The other thing to note, this is a STAMPtember limited edition exclusive, meaning once this set is gone, it is gone. So if you're interested at all, I highly recommend pausing the video, jumping down to the description and clicking the link and going and purchasing and securing your stamp set now. You can always come back and watch the rest of the video later. I absolutely adore watching these sweet little images come to life. Something I love to note about this particular stamp set, they are not super teeny tiny little images. They're not huge by any means. You can see on my card, I used multiples on my design, but what I love is that they're a nice substantial size for coloring. So if you love to color in your images, this is an amazing set for you because it allows you to have fun with your markers or colored pencils or watercolors, whatever you like to use. Now, I always like to give my critters some rosy cheeks. Is this actual real life? No, not really, but I always just like that little rosy cheek look because our penguins probably aren't sipping out of mugs and wearing Santa hats and scarves either. So I just have fun with it. I am adding some warm gray, just a little bit to tint the brim and pom-pom of his hat. And then I am going to color in his mug, and we're going to add some highlights and details to this image. If you watch me color at all, one of the things I absolutely love to do is to take a white Jelly Roll pen, and a black one too for that matter, but a white one, and add detail. Glitter is another one. I like the Stardust pen. You're going to see that here in a little bit. I'm adding white detail to the pom-pom and brim of the hat. It's a little hard to see on screen, but in real life, it gives it that kind of fuzzy texture or look. I'm adding some white stripes to the scarf. That just adds to the overall fun feel. I've added a white highlight to the beak and a few white highlights here and there as needed. I guess I haven't colored the mug in yet. When I colored the mug, I felt like the mug was the perfect place to add an embellishment, which is what I'm going to do as I get closer to finishing up this card design. Now, the thing with eyes, I am a big proponent of taking a black Jelly Roll pen and coloring in the eyes. In this case, the eyes all have a white highlight. And did I just black them out? I did. So I am going to let them sit. You do need to let that dry a little bit. And once that black Jelly Roll pen is completely dry, I am going to go back with my white marker, or my white Jelly Roll pen rather, and I will add the highlights back in. You definitely want to do that for your critters, because otherwise they're not quite as cute. I want to say scary, but you guys know what I mean. So yes, I know you just saw magic. Let's go back. So I am going to color in my next little penguin holding the presents. She is going to have a pink and red hat, holding a green present with a red ribbon and a red present with a pink ribbon. This is where I'm pulling in some additional colors into the design, the pinks and the reds. And again, I am using Olo markers. I will list down in the description below the video here on YouTube the colors I used for each section. I'll list the penguin colors, and then I will also list out like the reds I used, the pinks I used, and the aquas and greens, so that if you are curious at all or want to replicate certain color combinations for your next coloring project, you can do that easily. And just adding in all of that awesome color, watching our cute penguins come to life. Now, I am going to have extra penguins, so I'm probably going to make maybe some gift tags or something with these, since I needed to recolor these two little cuties. And then some nice warm grays here, building up to the black color. If you have never colored something black before, you will probably use shades of gray to work yourself into that black color rather than just going in with a straight black marker. And that is so that you get that beautiful shading and depth and dimension that you want with your colored images. Oh, so fun. I always have so much fun like adding their accessories for those wonderful pops of color. So we'll go back to our red marker now. And I'm going to add in my dark areas first, and go ahead, anything else that's going to be red, we'll touch that as well. And then we're going to blend out with our lighter color. That's definitely our brighter red. And our present. And the bow on the other present, or the ribbon. So now we need a little bit of green to finish this off. And again, I'm going to add white pen detail. This time we're going to add little white highlights to the feet and beak, just like before. We will add some stripes to the red package. We're going to add polka dots to the green package, stripes to the brim of the hat, and white dots to the pom-pom to help give it that kind of fuzzy texture, if you will. So cute. And we will also add the black Jelly Roll pen to the eyes, and once the black has dried, we'll go back in with the white pen and add in the detail. For our final penguin, this is where I'm going to pull in some aqua. I love a good aqua and pink for the holidays. So we're going to use our blue-green marker to add that color for the hat and the sweater. The accents on the hat and the sweater are going to be pink. And then everything else about the penguin is going to be colored exactly like the other two penguins. Now, oftentimes with a scene card, I will build the background first, and then I build the rest of the scene. Like I would build the critters and everything else. I had a pretty good idea prior to starting this project that how I was going to do the background. So I actually colored my images in first. You're going to see that here in a minute, that I'm going to show my process for taking a background. I did opt to do a slimline style. I tried the standard A2 first, and then I thought just the slimline is going to give me a little bit more real estate where I don't feel everything is so crammed together. So that's what I opted to do. But I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to figure out how to do my stenciling and building the background scene to really tell the story for these cute critters. I'm always thinking of a story when I am building a scene card like this. And for this, these little penguins are, you know, out in the snowy scene and hanging out with their cute little outfits. And I'm moving or creating movement is what I want to say throughout the card with the sentiments from the set as well as the images. And I'm going to kind of stagger the sentiments, if you will, which you'll see here in a minute. The snowflakes from the set will be helping to build that snowy scenescape up in the upper part of the design. Oh, I absolutely love it. Now, a little bit different idea for the finishing and detailing on this penguin. Yes, we're going to do the white highlights for the beak and for the feet, but I am going to be using a Stardust glitter pen to add the detail for the brim of the hat, the pom-pom, the cuffs and collar of the sweater. And then I'm using the white pen to make a little plaid design on the sweater. The Stardust glitter pen may not show up super great on camera, but it's going to add, well, you can see it a little bit there. It's going to add a shimmery touch, almost like a metallic-y type of thread in those types or in those areas of the outfit. That's kind of what I was going for anyway, and looks absolutely adorable. I love it so much. Now for a slimline style card, or the slimline style card that I am going to create here today, I am going to trim a panel of smooth white cardstock to 3.5 by 8.5 inches. That is our starting point real estate, if you will. I decided while I'm working on my background to go ahead and apply some crystal lacquer, glossy accents would also work, to the beaks of my penguins, and then set those aside to dry while I build the background scene. If I ever am doing something that I know I will have a little extra time, I love to use that time to let things dry. So here is an A2 background. I wanted to show how it just feels to me kind of crammed with these images, at least in the portrait style. So I'm going to switch over to that slimline that we just talked about. And I've got a hillside border stencil from Lawn Fawn, I believe. Any kind of snowy or wavy stencil, I should say, is going to work here. And I'm going to lay that out with my background, with my penguin images, and I'm going to start filling in with my greetings. And you'll see how things kind of move and adapt as I do it this way. And that is the reason I do the card this way, is because it really shows me where do I need those hills to fall to allow me plenty of room to still add my, you know, sentiments and my images and make it flow correctly. Let's turn it on its side. I think it may be a little bit easier to view. So when I'm happy with the layout, I'm going to take my stencil and some Mermaid Lagoon Distress Oxide ink, and we're going to slightly add, or very lightly, not slightly, lightly add that Mermaid Lagoon ink along the stencil edge. Stenciling a lot on the stencil so that it's very light on the background. Then we're going to move up a little bit, and I'm constantly going to be reevaluating, putting my images back in place, checking to see if I think that it's laid out appropriately, and then I will stencil the next border. For this card, I felt like I needed 3 of those snowbanks for this design just to make everything fit correctly. So then I am going to readjust again. And you'll notice I'm moving my stencil back and forth because I don't want the snowbanks to all be or hit in exactly the same place for added interest. And when I'm happy with the third one, we'll go ahead and add that snow on the bottom edge of the stencil. Now, the great thing about these stencils is it mirrors one another. So what I want to do so that I mask off the snow now and I don't ink it up, but I want to add a dark blue sky, I'm going to go back in with Broken China Distress Oxide ink and ink up that entire sky with the Broken China. But then I'm going to take Uncharted Mariner and we are going to do a very deep dark blue here and deepen and darken the sky, but we're masking off the snowbank so I'm not messing up the snowy, the snow banks down below. And I love it. It's looking perfect. Now, I do want to stamp and emboss my sentiment in snowflakes from the set in the upper part of this card design. Because Distress Oxide ink has some pigment ink in it, it's very slow drying. I personally prefer to let it air dry rather than trying to heat it up and dry quicker. You can definitely do that if you want to. I want to give full disclosure that I let this sit and dry for a good hour probably, and then came back and stamped and embossed everything in the upper part of the card. Meanwhile though, I can work on the bottom area of the card. You'll notice I'm laying out What'll I Do Without You, There Is No One Cooler Than You, and Have a Chill Winter Season. I'm going to figure out the placement of those three sentiments. We're going to transfer this into a MISTI or another stamp positioning tool, and I'm going to use Mermaid Lagoon and Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink to stamp those greetings. I'm adding a little snowflake embellishment to the mug like I talked about earlier. I also have some cute little heart accents in place to adorn the bottom area of the card where there's a little bit more white space. It adds a fun little pop of color. The blue at the top of my card has dried now, and the blue ink. So I'm going to stamp my sentiment and snowflakes with an embossing ink and heat emboss with white embossing powder. And I will be repeating the snowflakes. There's 3 of them in the set. I will be repeating them several times to fill in that upper area of the card. Even if when I'm finished, it looks like I still need a little something, we're going to go in with some awesome Pretty Pink Posh clay accents, the winter snowflakes, and add some pale blue snowflakes to fill in some areas for some added texture and interest. I love how the white embossing looks against this blue background. It is so pretty. I want to make sure some of the snowflakes hang off the sides of the panel. So you'll notice like up at the top and along the left side, there will be snowflakes that are not encased or in the center of the card panel. They hang off the side. And we're going to simply finish filling that out a little bit and then add our remaining snowflakes. The penguin images are popped up with foam adhesive. To give a little more depth and dimension to the card, you could glue them right to the background as well. You could even go to La La Land Crafts and pick up, or you may already have, some other holiday or winter stamp sets in your stash from them with critters that coordinate, and you could mix and match. Definitely look at the stamp sets that you already own and think how you can incorporate these new STAMPtember sets with things that you already have or that you've just picked up and create some truly unique and wonderful scenes. So we're just stamping a couple more. I felt like this area needed just a couple more little snowflakes. You reach the point where you just keep adding, but I think that's going to be good. And we'll heat set that. And again, the white against the blue, really pops here. You could always stamp the snowflakes in like the dark blue ink if you wanted, and stamp your sentiment either in dark blue or black. That would be pretty too. I'm adding little dabs of glue, and I'm using the embellishment wand to pick up my little snowflakes and pop them in place. I could have used the white snowflakes, but I thought that the little baby blue ones in this particular collection really played nice with the whole design. Once I have everything down, I will glue this panel to a Simon Says Stamp Slimline card base, and my card featuring the La La Land 2023 STAMPtember limited edition exclusive is all finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please be sure to check out the description down below where I've listed and linked the products for your convenience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.